The camera opens on a quiet neighborhood at sunset, the sky painted orange and gold. Children's laughter fills the air until suddenly a scream echoes. A baby's stroller starts rolling down a sloped driveway, the mother's hands frozen in horror. Before anyone can react, a German Shepherd sprints into the frame, pushing the stroller sideways, just in time before it hits the busy road. That dog's name was Shadow. And this is the story of how Shadow and two other dogs became real-life heroes, saving innocent babies from getting hurt and proving that love and courage sometimes come on four legs. Paw prints in a small town called Brooksville, three families lived side by side. Each had something in common, a baby and a dog that watched over them like a guardian angel. Shadow, the brave German Shepherd, belonged to Emma and her one-year-old son, Liam. Bella, the kind-hearted golden retriever, lived with a single father, Mr. Harris, and his baby daughter, Lily. Rocky, a street dog who had no home, wandered near the neighborhood park. But everyone knew he was special. He always stayed close to where the children played, as if he was guarding them. They were different dogs, but fate would soon tie their stories together. It was an ordinary summer afternoon. Parents chatted outside while their babies played in the yard. But a small mistake was about to turn into tragedy. Emma stepped inside her house for a brief moment to grab Liam's bottle. That's when the wind pushed open the gate. The stroller began rolling down the hill. In those terrifying seconds, Shadow noticed before anyone else. His instincts kicked in. He bolted across the yard, knocking over flower pots, and pushed the stroller away from the edge of the road just as a truck passed by. The entire neighborhood froze. The baby was safe, only a few inches from disaster. Emma fell to her knees, crying and hugging Shadow tightly. The truck driver, shaking, said softly, "That dog just saved a life." Shadow became a hero overnight. But this story didn't end there. Weeks later, the town was hit by a powerful thunderstorm. Power lines fell, trees cracked, and chaos broke out. Mr. Harris tried to carry Lily to safety, but the floodwaters rose too fast. A branch struck him, and he lost grip of his daughter. Lily's tiny cries were nearly drowned by thunder, but Bella heard them. Without hesitation, the golden retriever leaped into the rushing water, fighting the current. With her teeth, she grabbed Lily's blanket and swam with all her strength toward the higher ground. By the time rescuers arrived, Bella was weak but alive, and so was Lily. The rescuers said, "If it weren't for that dog, we would have found a tragedy, not a miracle." Bella became a symbol of courage, but not all heroes wear collars. One night, a fire broke out in an old house near the park, a family's baby still inside. People screamed for help, but the smoke was too thick. Rocky, the stray dog who had watched over the children for years, didn't wait for help. He dashed into the flames. Minutes later, firefighters found him near the door, dragging the baby's blanket out with his teeth. The baby was safe, but Rocky never made it back out. The entire town mourned him. They built a small statue in the park with a plaque that read, "For the dog who had no home but gave his heart to ours." Months later, the three families gathered in that same park. Shadow sat proudly beside Emma and Liam. Bella, recovered but older now, wagged her tail beside Lily. And near the statue of Rocky, children played safely under the watchful eyes of the dogs. Emma said softly, "They don't just protect us, they remind us of what real love is, pure." The story opens with a soft piano melody. We see old pictures of Shadow, Bella, and Rocky, the heroes who saved lives and touched hearts. Then a voiceover begins. The people thought their stories ended that day, but heroes never really leave. They just wait for the next soul that needs saving. Cut to a new neighborhood, fresh faces, new families, and a familiar Shadow watching from afar. After the emotional events in Brooksville, Emma and her son Liam moved to the countryside. Shadow had become older, his fur now touched with gray, but his eyes still glowed with the same fire. In the nearby town, a new shelter opened. The Rocky Foundation, named after the stray dog who gave his life saving a child. Bella's story had inspired its creation. Every week, Emma and Shadow visited the shelter to help other dogs find home. That's where they met Max, a frightened puppy rescued from the streets, trembling at every sound. Shadow took him under his wing as if saying, "It's okay, little one. You're safe now." But fate was about to test them again. One weekend, a local picnic brought families together near the countryside river. Children laughed, and parents relaxed, unaware that a small baby, only 9 months old, was crawling dangerously close to the water's edge. Max saw it first. He barked, tugging Emma's sleeve, but nobody noticed. The baby slipped. A splash, a scream, chaos. Before Emma could move, Shadow dashed forward. Despite his age, his instincts took over. He plunged into the cold water, fighting the current, pushing the baby upward with his nose while Max barked for help. Emma and others rushed to pull them out. The baby was safe, but Shadow was weak. His old heart had given everything it could. He lay on the riverbank, eyes calm, as if saying, "My mission is complete." Max lay beside him, whimpering softly. Shadow's eyes closed, and the screen faded to white. Days passed. Emma buried Shadow beneath an oak tree near the river, the same spot where he saved the baby. She placed his collar around the tree and whispered, "You saved them all, and you saved me too." Max refused to eat for days. He would sleep near Shadow's resting place, waiting, listening, learning. One night, as rain began to fall, Max lifted his head and barked at the distance, as if hearing Shadow's spirit guiding him. And then, destiny called again. Late one night, lightning struck the rocky foundation shelter. Flames spread fast, dogs trapped inside, crying for help. Emma and Max were nearby when they saw the smoke. Without hesitation, Max ran toward the burning building. Emma screamed for him to stop, but just like Shadow once did, Max knew what he had to do. He pushed open the gate, barking and guiding the terrified dogs toward the exit. Inside, he found a small crate with 3 puppies trapped. The fire grew hotter. Time was running out. He grabbed the crate handle with his teeth and pulled with all his strength, coughing, eyes watering from the smoke. Firefighters arrived just in time, saving Max and every single dog. When Emma found him covered in soot, she cried, hugging him tightly, "You're Shadow's spirit. You're his legacy." Months later, the town built a memorial park with 2 statues. One of Shadow, the old hero by the river, and one of Rocky, the stray who gave his life in the fire. Beside them, Max stood proudly, now grown strong and calm, watching over the children playing near the fountain. Emma placed a plaque that read, "Heroes don't fade. They live on through the hearts they touch and the lives they save." And the camera opens on a foggy morning. A small park lies silent. Dew on the grass, birds singing softly. The statues of Shadow, Rocky, and Bella stand proudly, sunlight gently kissing their bronze faces. Beside them, Max, now a grown, majestic German shepherd, lies watching over a group of children playing nearby. The voiceover says, "They say when a hero's spirit leaves the earth, it finds a new home in another heart that's ready to love." But today, something will test that legacy again. Years passed. The world changed. New families moved in and people stopped visiting the memorial park. The statues of the hero dogs became dusty and cracked, their stories fading like old memories. Max, now older and slower, still guarded the park every morning. He waited near the river where Shadow once saved a baby. Emma, now working as a vet, noticed that people had begun abandoning dogs again. She sighed one evening looking at Max. We promised we'd never forget them. And yet, here we are. That night, lightning flashed in the distance. A storm was coming. It started as heavy rain, then thunder roared. Within hours, the town was flooded. Families screamed, rushing to save their children. In one home near the river, a baby was trapped on the 2nd floor, water rising fast. The family had lost hope when suddenly, a bark echoed through the storm. It was Max. Despite his age, he swam through the raging flood, breaking through debris, following the baby's cries. Inside the house, the baby was clinging to a floating toy. Max jumped through the window, lifted the baby gently with his mouth, and fought to stay above water. Lightning flashed, and in that moment, viewers see a ghostly shimmer beside him. The faint spirits of Shadow, Bella, and Rocky swimming alongside him, guiding his way. Together they reached safety. The baby survived, but Max collapsed by the riverbank, exhausted, breathing softly as the rain fell over him. Emma found Max lying peacefully under the oak tree, the same one where Shadow rested years ago. She dropped to her knees, crying, holding his paw. "You did it again. You saved another life." The townspeople gathered, realizing how much they had forgotten. Children placed flowers around Max, whispering a "Thank you, hero." The next morning, the flood cleared, leaving the park glistening in sunlight. The statues of Shadow, Rocky, and Bella seemed to shine brighter, as if welcoming Max to their eternal family. Weeks later, Emma opened a new shelter, a Max's promise. It was built beside the river, where all the rescues happened. Every rescued puppy wore a small tag with one word: guardian. One day, a young puppy named Leo arrived, golden fur, brave eyes, and something familiar about his gaze. Emma smiled softly. You remind me of someone. As Leo ran toward the river, the camera slowly pans up to the sky, the faint shapes of Shadow, Bella, Rocky, and Max watching over him. A bright morning in the countryside. Children play near a sparkling river, the same river where heroes once rose. The camera pans over 4 memorial statues. Shadow, Bella, Rocky, and Max, guardians of generations. The wind blows gently and flower petals swirl around them. Then the voiceover begins. Every story has an end, but every ending is also a beginning. Some heroes are born, others are chosen by destiny. Cut to a small puppy with golden fur, Leo, watching the river with bright, curious eyes. Leo was born in Max's promised shelter, the legacy built by Emma. He was kind and playful, but scared of everything. Thunder, loud sounds, strangers, even water. Emma often smiled at him softly, saying, You have your father's heart, Leo. You just don't know it yet. But Leo didn't believe her. He thought heroes were only the ones in the statues, not a small puppy like him. Until one stormy night changed everything, the sky darkened. Thunder cracked again, just like years ago. A school bus full of children got stuck on a flooded road near the old bridge. Water rose fast, panic everywhere. Emma called for help, but emergency crews couldn't reach in time. Then through the storm, a bark echoed, small but brave. It was Leo. He remembered Max's story. The river, the rescue, the courage. Without hesitation, he jumped into the current. The water was cold and strong, but Leo fought through it. He climbed onto the bus roof, barking, guiding the children to stay calm. One boy was trapped inside, the current too strong for him to move. Leo broke the glass with his paws, pulling at the boy's shirt, dragging him out into safety. As rescuers arrived, one firefighter whispered, Little dog, he just did what no one else could. Leo collapsed on the riverbank, exhausted. Emma rushed to him, crying, holding his face in her hands. You did it. You're one of them now. At that moment, thunder faded and sunlight broke through the clouds. The water glimmered, and for a second, viewers could see the reflections of Shadow, Bella, Rocky, and Max in the river, watching proudly. Leo slowly opened his eyes, weak but alive. He wagged his tail, as if saying, Did I make you proud? Days later, the whole town gathered in the park. Children brought flowers, and parents shared stories of the heroes who came before. A new statue was unveiled beside the others, smaller, made of gold with the name, Leo, the new guardian. The mayor spoke softly. Courage doesn't depend on size or strength. It lives in the heart that chooses to love no matter the cost. Emma looked at Leo, healed and happy, and whispered, You've proven that their legacy will never die.